Hey, how's everybody doing? Welcome to the worst reviews ever. Today it's just gonna be me and Casey Fred rocking out, doing these. So I know how it is, man. I like that jacket though, man. You still
Hey,
repping, man. I'm telling you, they gotta
JC,
get you that
baby, what's up?
yeah, I like that. That's clean. Yeah, they need to go ahead and get you that deal, man. Because it was funny. Somebody was asking me about it. They were like, man, I see Casey Fred and man, are they the new wave Casey Fred? I'm like, nah, they was riding with them when times was rough. Like they was winning one game a season, 1 or 2 games. So I was like, nah, he was dedicated. So yeah,
Yeah,
you stand firm with that. But all right,
always.
man. Yeah, no doubt. I gotta give you credit for that. Nah, you ain't on a bandwagon. So definitely had to shout you out on that. But all right, today we're gonna just go ahead and jump into the review. So the movie we're gonna review today, of course, you see it up on there. It's Emilia Perez. So let me go ahead and pull up the sides real quick. So I'll get to the plot summary, the cast slide, and the director and producer. Then we'll play the trailer. But all right, let me go ahead and read this. So Emilia Perez is a 2024 Spanish language French musical crime film written and directed by Jacques. I'm not even trying to go there with the last names today. So, all right. Emilia Perez follows three remarkable women in Mexico, each pursuing their own happiness. Cartel leader Emilia enlists unappreciated lawyer Rita to help fake her death so that she can finally live authentically as her true self. So, all right, let me go ahead, get to the directors and producers. So, again, directed by Jacques, produced by Jacques, Pascal, Valerie. Yeah. Sorry, I don't even want to mess y'all names. I'm putting some respect on it. And Anthony Cello. So I will go ahead and shout his out. Then as far as the cast for this movie, Zoe Celinda as Rita Mora Castro, and she was the lawyer in the film. Carla Sofia Garzon as Emilia Perez. She was also Juan Manitas Del Monte, the cartel kingpin. Selena Gomez as Jesse Del Monte, and that was the cartel kingpin's, girlfriend. Mm-hmm. Adrian Paz as Elpafina Flores, Emilia's lover, and Edgar Ramirez as Gustavo Bron, Jesse's lover. So let me go ahead and jump into the, trailer real quick. So give me 1 second. Let me go ahead and hit play on that.
Are you English?
No, I'm not English. Why?
No, because you you are pretty.
So, this little client have a name?
He desires to remain anonymous. If you're not willing to accept, I don't think it's worth talking. Just cut to the chase. To listen is to accept.
Emilia Perez. Emilia Perez. Emilia Perez. Emilia.
Eso.
Mingo.
So that was the trailer. Definitely looked like a totally different movie from that.
Yeah, big time.
Daily Burns.
But all right, let me go ahead and pull up the rating scale. So all right, I could go ahead and set it off first. We'll work our way down. So my rating for this movie, I'm gonna have to go with a 5, man. I gotta put it between decent and average. So all right, Casey Fred, what's your rating?
Oh man. So if we're gonna go with the worst movie reviews ever, I'm not gonna lie. I struggled the whole way through this movie. Like I actually gave it a 3. Like
Okay. Terrible or bad? You in that range? Flat 3?
man, the struggle is real. I mean, oh man.
Yeah, I'm leaving room to go down. Y'all know how we do it. So yeah. There's a reason, like when we break it down, I'll break down why I was at a 5. And that's honestly that's me being high and pushing it. But amazing.
You definitely the outlier.
Amazing.
Well, it's a good thing I got on. I'm going with a 7.8.
Yeah. We're
You
not
said a
going to score
7.8
based on this.
Yep.
You watched Emilia Perez, right?
I listened to it and I thought it was an excellent story.
I just had to make sure we was on the same page, like we all watched the same movie. But all right, you said 7 point what?
8.
7.8? Very good territory.
She got you beat as the outlier, bro. So
Yeah, she definitely the outlier. But all right, wow. So amazing, you gotta go first on this one.
So I gave it a 7.8 because there was just like so many different dynamics that I was not expecting any of that at all. Like I didn't read about it, what it was about. Like the whole thing just completely threw me, and I haven't seen any movies like that. But I also like the like I've started to like some of those like Indian movies. I'm not sure what they're where they're like dancing and it's kind of like musical. And I felt like this had very many of those scenes. So I liked that. I also liked I do really like Selena Gomez as an actor, and I thought she did a great job in there. Um, Going back to the plot and storyline though, again, I didn't see any of that coming, but I thought everything went very well together from like the man who ends up like he's a tough guy. He ends up changing into a woman, so transitions into a woman, but still is not happy with his whole situation and then ends up back with his family. The wife ends up being killed, you know, with him and everybody else at the end. So it kind of seems like it just is like a full effect where if you're not happy with yourself, no matter what you do, you're not going to be happy with yourself and all the effects you have on other people as well, going through all of that. I thought the actor and actresses' performances all were very, very good. I forget the main character, the transgender woman, though. I thought she did an excellent job on from being kind of like the tough guy to the woman to the drug cartel lord to the, you know, the person who is helping kind of find these people and have closure for families and right wrongs that she was involved in. What would I do differently? I don't think I would do anything differently. I even like the ending of it when the lawyer ended up getting the kids because they really ended up having terrible parents from both aspects, and she ended up helping with that, so she was able to get the kids. I would recommend it. And another thing I would recommend is, and this again goes to I've never come across a movie like this either, but because I listen a lot of times to different movies and I listen to a ton of Audible books. this movie like described, so I was listening to it. It reminded me of an Audible book. Like it went into like details of what was happening on the screen versus just the voices. So if anybody could literally listen to this movie and it would be like an Audible book. It was just like somebody telling a story with details down to what the people literally looked like. So I really enjoyed it. And I thought it was completely different than anything I've seen. So that's why I gave it such a high score.
Okay. Okay. I'll go ahead and go. So my rating for this again was a 5. And the reason why I gave it a 5, like I think it had a good storyline, plot, and definitely the acting. Amazing nailed it on that. I think all the actors, man, that's why I had it higher. So they killed it, man. Great performances. But man, I'm just, first of all was the audio, because I had to listen to audio like her, and I don't have a vivid imagination. So the audio person was on like monotone, so I had to decipher that. And then on top of that, when they're doing musicals and you're listening to audio, I don't already like musicals, but with the monotone thing, it just kind of killed it. So yeah, it was like a lot of that it was like me and KC Fred was talking about a little bit before. It was kind of hard to follow when you gotta like, you're listening to something and with that monotone thing, and or you're reading stuff. So yeah, it was just a lot. I wish I could they could have done a solid English version without that monotone audio thing, and left out some of the musicals, because I think the storyline and the plot was actually pretty good. Because like Mason said, it did have a lot of the deaths in the movie. Because yeah, the way like it just kind of kicked off at first, I'm like, oh Lord, here we go. And then once like the transition went off the grid, and then when she came back, started doing good deeds, but that jealousy started kicking in. As far as like the family, and still trying to balance it, because she got a little gangster at the end where she was like, look, these are my kids and stuff. So she, it's like some of that, the old ways started clicking back in. She got the security detail, and she was like, hey, look, and then the whole kidnapping is kind of like, that's the life, as the cartel person that they used to live, even doing the good deeds. She kind of knew who to go to and pull people in the room based on the life and stuff. And when she went to the prison, she got the one guy to kind of confess. So they were like, hey, go talk to this guy. So just being in that life, it went 360, where she was the one that was end up kidnapped, fingers cut off, by, the person that she was with. And then also it had that dynamic where, it's almost like if she would have told the truth to the family, instead of just like dissing themselves, none of this probably would have played out like that. Definitely people would have moved on with their own life and stuff, but it's just, it just goes to show you, like Amazing said, you can't have everything. So I did like that messaging where it's just like, hey man, sometimes, even though you're going through your own situation, it is going to have some impact. So I like how they just showed those dynamics and stuff. But yeah, like I said, I had to gig it for the musical stuff and the audio. If I was the director or producer of this movie, would I change or do anything differently? No, I would leave it as is, because I think everything flowed. I would just like I said, I'll probably take out 4 or 5 of the musicals, just stick to straight like acting and a little more gangster stuff where as the cartel member, a little couple action scenes, and I would have probably made those changes. But everything else, as far as like I said, the plot storyline definitely like I said, flowed nice. It was just honestly the musicals, man. I saw Wicked this year and Mufasa. That's all the musicals I'm watching after this one. If I see any musical thing on it, I'm not watching it this year. For the rest of the year. I got like a 3 quota musical in me. So unlike Amazing, I don't like them. And would I recommend this movie to anyone? Yes, I would. But I'd be like, you better have like nothing to do on that day, and you're hella bored. I'll be like, go ahead and watch this. All right, we'll kick it over to you, Casey, for.
All right. So I have to like totally agree with you, Jerk. I gave it a 3 because I really don't know Espanol. So all that Spanish that they was doing, the
Three is
dialogue,
terrible and bad. Just to keep y'all.
I'm trying to read the captions and stuff like that. And then when they said they started singing, I said musical. What? Like that? I'm barely keeping up with the captions down below,
Yeah.
and now you want to start singing real fast to me too. So I'm just like, I can't eat nachos like this, and I'm over here trying to strain my eyes, looking at the TV, trying to see all the captions down below and stuff. Like, what happened? What's going on? What's going on? And then you gonna say it to me real fast, and then when the the part that really got me was when the doctor he was like, doctor started talking and started singing to the lawyer, and the lawyer Rita was trying to convince him, like, no, he wants you, and you need to do this for him, and it was all about Mantis over there finding the right person, and I thought it was funny how what's her name, Zola, I think is her real name in real life, I think,
Yeah, so
play Rita. To me, I felt like if there was anybody that stole the show from Emilia, it would definitely be her because that's who it started with. And at the end, I found it very ironic that that's who it ends up being with. She was single, just trying to find her way, just trying to prove herself that she could be a lawyer. And before it's all over with, she's not only a big time lawyer, got big time money, but end up having a family, two kids at the end because this this family that goes through everything ends up dying at the end, except for the kids, and so she ends up having or being having to adopt them and stuff. And so I just thought that was incredible. And then of course the cartel, the head guy, his name was Mantis, I believe, who ends up be turning into Emilia. I just thought that was just like mind-boggling, to be honest with you. I've never seen a movie anything like that. I was not expecting that. I definitely wasn't expecting the musical, and I don't know which one I prefer, whether it was the musical or the captions. But the simple fact that I had both, that's probably the reason why I gave it such a low score, because I can't keep up. You either give me the captions and I'm just focused on that, or else give me the musical and then I'm trying to listen to the words and stuff like that. But you trying to get me to do the musical and the captions at the same time, I was just lost. But at the end of the day, this was a totally different movie. I felt like the storyline, as far as the tour, the journey that they was taking us all on, I understood what the producers and directors were definitely trying to do, and I saw that. But the perspective that I really saw it from really would have to be from Rita, from the lawyer's perspective, because one thing, it was so obvious she didn't even expect all of this. She didn't realize that she was going to get involved. She didn't realize that she was going to have a gun, to protect herself. She didn't know that she was going to end up, when she tried to get away from the woman all of a sudden finds her and brings her back in and says, I want to keep you around and have you on my retainer. You're part of my family and you're my personal lawyer. And we're going to go down this journey together. And she didn't see none of that coming. And what used to be where you was a nobody, thanks to Emilia, you became a somebody. And not only did you become a somebody, but the best lawyer out there, and you're on TV and you're being publicized for such a big thing that I've never even saw coming. But obviously it was very important to all the citizens of loved ones that all of a sudden wanted to know what happened to their family members that were buried and left on the side of the road, and where are they? And it was just this journey that they wanted to do, because that was part of that cartel's life. And Emilia, she know that when she was Mantis, that was something that they had to do in order to survive and make their cartel successful. And then it was like, now that she was Emilia, she wanted to be able to flip the script and redo some of those wrongs that have been done to so many people. And it wasn't just by her group, but by many gangs and many cartel people that was out there. And so I'd never seen anything like that in the movies before. And so that fascinated me. The scenes of what you got to go through to transition. I remember what was his name? The Olympian Jennings that had to go through it, and he all of a sudden, I don't think he went all the way like Emilia did, but the simple fact of it is he had to go through the journey, and they walk you through the steps. And this guy down in Mexico had to go all the way to Switzerland and to be able to get this procedure done. And you see him wrapped up and in a mask and all this crazy stuff. Those scenes was just like, it was so vivid and just like, wow. And then all of a sudden he's like got a mirror and he's checking his body and he's like, oh, this is what I've been waiting for. And just to be able to go through all those feelings. And then when he gets back, he realizes the very thing that I left is the very thing that I missed the most. And that was my kids, my family. And so all of a sudden because he has all this money, gets Rita and says, hey, I need you to make this happen. And that's what she does. And because of it, next thing you know, booyah, she is all of a sudden has the family back. But, the wife, she was never satisfied with the situation and stuff. And she's ready to move on with her life and ends up getting back with an old lover. And I think, to be honest with you, I felt like Emilia in that point was cool with it because Emilia found love herself. And so she had her love transaction and her wife, ex-wife had her, lover and transaction, and everything was cool until the wife all of a sudden said, hey, we're going to live somewhere else. I'm going to take the boys with me. And then that was when all, like you said, Jerk, all the drama began because one thing, it was like, no, I had this bubble. I had everybody in my bubble. And now you're going to break that apart. You're going to break away my perfect world. And I went through all of this thinking that I'd be able to keep my family, and you're trying to tear it apart. And then that's where the chaos began. It was like the cancer formed, and like you said, the jealousy and the rage and all those emotions that Mantis probably had when he was the leader of a cartel started all of a sudden coming back, and he wrote in this little bubble that he had made as Emilia. And once again, the old saying is, if you live by the sword, you die by the sword. And so, like you said, the ex-wife who was with the lover, they kidnapped Emilia and got some people to help out with that. And next thing you know, got her held hostage and cut off fingers off of Emilia. And next thing you know, here it comes. Rita's made with a decision, the lawyer, and she's like, hey, that's my friend. If it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be where I am today. And so then that's when, as in the musical, you saw it in the little footage earlier, she hires 8 or 9 people and with guns and says, hey, we're going to get Emilia back. And then that's where the gun thing takes off. And then next thing you know, Emilia is, I think she was wounded somehow, wasn't she, Jerk, I believe? And then all of a sudden she confesses to the ex-wife, by telling her how they met and how it all began with them. And she's like, oh my God, you are him. And then of course the, ex-wife's lover, they grab both of them, throws Emilia in the car. And then the next thing you know, it all clicks for the ex-wife and realizes like, hey, you need to pull over. That's my husband that is in the trunk. And he's like, what are you talking about? You crazy. And then she grabbed the gun and says, hey, if you don't pull over, hey, I'm gonna shoot you. You ain't gonna shoot me. And the next thing you know, the scuffle. And before you know it, they're already going around all these curves and they end up going off a cliff. Car tumbles down, boom, explosion. And that's the end of them. And then at the end of the day, Rita is all of a sudden gets the one gift that she never expected to have. And it was funny because even throughout the movie, she was like at a bar, she was at places, and she was like, here I am. I'm rich. I got all this money, millions of dollars. I'm a big time lawyer. and I don't have a family, and I don't have a husband. And it was kind of foreshadowing her saying that, because at the end of the movie, what does she have? 2 kids that all of a sudden she has to raise through Amelia and the ex-wife. And so I just thought it was just a serious journey, and I wanted to be a part of it. I mean, I understand how they got their 13 awards and all this crazy stuff, but man, I could not keep up, because between the musical and they speak in Spanish and everything's going fast and stuff like that with the musical, so you really couldn't catch that. And then on this side over here, you're trying to read the captions and stuff. I mean, there was just no nachos, no eating, no nothing. You just too busy and just trying to catch on. But I see, if I was going to change something, I would be like you, Jerk, where I was saying I would definitely put this movie in the English version and stuff. And I would pick, like I said before, I would pick either you go with the captions or you go with the musical. But the both, oh man, some of us, we just, hey, we can't keep up. But like I said, I do say kudos to the producer and directors for at least doing something that's really, I don't think has ever been done before, from what I've been hearing, and especially the reviews. And would I recommend this to somebody? Only if they knew Spanish and was very fast at reading captions. Would I say, hey, good luck, go for it. I wish you all the best, and see you on the other side. So that would be it. But that's where I'm at.
Yeah, nah. Something came to my mind when you was on a director. What would you change?
Mm-hmm.
I would make another like change. I felt like when she became Emilia
Mm-hmm.
and started doing the good deeds, but it seemed like she almost started kind of getting the power back. Like she's like, you know what, man, I got power, but I'm using it in a different way. But when Jesse started kind of stepping out of line, I wish she would have turned back into be like, you know what? I'm gonna go back to my cartel ways, and I could rule as like one of those female cartel bosses now. Just be like, you know what? I'm taking over everything. Jesse about to get eliminated, her and her man, and I'm gonna take my kids. So I forgot the one show, it was on TV, Queen of the South. So yeah, they could have did a version like that, but like, you know what? Nah, I'm going back to my old ways. You know what? I like the power. They could have did that transition, because I think that's kind of what happened. Where
Yeah.
like you were saying, she had a good arrangement until like Jesse wanted to kind of go live her life. Like, you know what? I got somebody I like, man. I done went through the mourning phase with the husband and stuff like that. So she's just like, you know what? I'm gonna live my life. And I think that's when Amelia was actually kind of self-centered at that point.
Right.
Because it was like, hey, like you said, I want everything in my bubble. I want everything on my terms. And that's probably how like everything was when, she was the actual cartel boss and stuff. Everything, was just on his terms at that point.
Right.
And even the wife was kind of just on call. Because you remember in the beginning, she was like, hey, where are we going? When they took him over to, what was it, Switzerland and stuff, and put him over there. She was bawling out crying. So it is kind of messed up how Amelia did the family, because it was just like, hey, y'all go over there 4 years. Okay, you know what? I miss y'all. I'm gonna bring you back, pull you into my world. And so then got mad when it didn't go to her way and stuff. So still was that like control freak
Right.
up in there and stuff. So I think that's what it was. Because it's actually, if you think about the story now, because I didn't think about it until you said it. I'm like, man, Selena Gomez character kind of got screwed over, because she ain't even know like because what was Amelia was playing as like an aunt or something, cousin, family member.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like, man, you don't know none of this stuff. And then at the end, you're like, hey, man, I was just trying to get my freedom, and my money's gone that I had. So it's like, hey, I did what I kind of knew, because I was around my husband a little bit. So I knew what they was doing. So yeah, let me kidnap this person that's trying to like, box me in and, kind of get my freedom and some money. And that's when, she had to face that reality. Like, hey, this is actually like, damn. So she did try to help out at the end, but it was kind of screwed up that she was even put in that position. Because that's what I was saying earlier, where it's like, man, maybe if Amelia would have just been honest with the process, kind of like you said, Caitlyn Jenner and stuff like that, then, you know, this wouldn't have had to go that far. And it's just like, look, we could live by each other, you know, raise the kids, but you know, we both could live our lives and stuff. But Emilia was like, nah, damn that. Like, this is on my terms.
Yeah, definitely.
But that's why I said, man, I was like, actually, man, the plot and the storyline, like I know they already made the movie, but I'm like, man, just I get the musicals because it won awards. So obviously, man, it worked. Maybe for guys, we're just not too big in that. But man, the plot and storyline and the acting, because even Emilia's character, I thought, you know, she did a tough job. So that's what I'm saying. The acting was phenomenal, man. But yeah, it was just like you said, I couldn't keep up, man.
Yeah,
Between the
it was
musicals and because already when I watch stuff with musicals, I'm already kind of like I said, I watched Wicked and Mufasa, and I was like, good movies, but you know, it's just too many musicals and some things. So at this one, it was like the same thing. But I was like, man, it was actually, like you said, a great storyline with the layers into it. So yeah, I'm like, damn, maybe do a different version y'all can do.
right.
Just take out some of the musicals, make
Well,
Emilia like really gangster in it.
right. You know, some of the international foreign films, they have captions. And then, you know, like you said, you got the movies like Mufasa. I mean, you even had the big one called High School Musical and stuff. And I'm cool with all of that. But when you mix the two together, I think that's where
Yeah, you can't have too much.
either get people or else you lose them. And for me, I was just trying to keep up, and I'm not a sprinter anymore. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm walking.
Yeah, bro.
No, you had a good point. Yeah, it was a lot. But like I said, you know, because typically I would have been like 1 or something for my rating if all this, but the storyline kept me into acting, so that's why I was like, man, I'm gonna give it a average 5. I'm gonna put it up there. Definitely can see why people would like it because if like Amazing, she likes the musical, so it's like, man, I understand that, yeah, but I couldn't do it. But it was funny, man, because I tried to hit y'all up. I was like, I watched a little bit of the movie and I was like, let me hit up Fred real quick and let him know, like, you got to turn the audio on. But y'all, Tammy, she wrote back. She was like, hey, we already watched it with the captions. I was like, oh. But no, okay, we'll go ahead, man. So we're going to go back to the rating scale. So start with Amazing on this one. Amazing. You're going to stay up there. You already had a 7.8, going up, down, keeping your rating.
So one thing just to add, I actually would change the voiceover, that monotone. That was a good point. I would have changed that.
Yeah.
Although I did love the storytelling, I thought that was excellent. But definitely after listening to the two of you, I'm going to go up to a solid 8.
Yeah, if they would have just put the man, if they have a feature with that, they could have made it like with a Spanish accent, even though it's still English, and it could have like flow with the music when they were singing. Because man, it just threw everything off. So maybe I just gotta go and look at it with the caption.
I liked the mix of just because to me it wasn't like I don't like a whole entire musical. But I just thought this had a good mix of musical and just regular movie dialogue. But the reason I gave it such a high score was just because it was literally like nothing I would have expected from like beginning to end.
Yeah,
So
it definitely, man, it had that
8.
twist. So that's what I'm saying. The storyline and the plot, like whoever wrote it from that aspect, they did a great job. But I don't know who's like, yo, man, let's like throw a dance scene when they're eating. And they got like cartel bosses in there. I don't know who like came up with that shit. That's why I was like, all right, Fred, you sticking with the 3, you going up, down.
Well, after Amazing went up and everything, I said, well, maybe I should go up. But then I realized, wait a minute, Mason's kind of bilingual, and I'm not even close to that. So I'm probably just going to stay right where I am. Like I said, man, I can't keep up, man. Hey, you give me one or the other, but the simple fact that you gave me both, hey, I'm just good to be able to have a 3, because if this was a horror film, yeah, I'd definitely be down to 1, just like you, Jerk.
Okay. Oh man,
You
I might go up a little bit.
5.2.
Yeah, 5.2. That's actually what I was thinking. Cause I want to take, cause man, it was like, man, it was good, man. Musicals, man. I'm telling you, I don't know. It's like with you with the horror movies. I think we said that last time we watched it. Yeah, the musicals just throw me off, man. I don't think I ever put a musical besides like Wicked and Mufasa up high, and it was just because of the nostalgia, because they were connected to older movies. But yeah, I could go up to a 5.2, put it completely in average. But they give me a remake and without musicals, I could put this up like 7.5.
Like you said, if they had an English version and you didn't have to do the captions and stuff, I think that would probably be a different score for all of us too. So,
but yeah, man, good story. Like I said, the twist, man. Like I did not expect it, because the cartel boss just being gangster like that. Because the way that they opened that up, he was like, "Man, you know who I am? You know what I did?" And she broke it down. She was like, "Yeah, man, you eliminated the other cartel." He was like, had the gold teeth showing. So like that transition was just it was just crazy, because it was like, damn, you wouldn't expect like somebody that macho in that type of world to even consider that. So I like how they kind of developed that story, man. That had the two extremes on it. But all right, y'all, we'll go ahead. We'll close this one out. Definitely, y'all check it out. Let us know if Amazing's off or if me and Fred standing on business. But all right, y'all, peace.
Peace.
Yeah.